Adam Bierman back again with Breezin with Bierman. I have to first applaud Loren Lepre, as I said before, has brought in great local legends, high Facebook ratings, high ratings of all type. Today we have to also go back to our roots though, because we are still a local station, and we have a new, I think, talent, vibrant, quiet charisma politician, Ayesha Hamilton. And I'll just go over a little bit of Ayesha's impressive resume. I don't see how you have time to sleep, but you've been a councilwoman, currently councilwoman in West Windsor. You won Governor Murphy's transition team, labor workforce development. You're a licensed attorney in private practice. You're just too accomplished. And I feel smaller.
Oh, no.
And stuff. And you might have been running for assembly in the 15th district, but I don't know. One thing I want to say, we have a story here, though, a human interest story, though. You're an immigrant. Can you give us some background?
Absolutely. I was born and raised in India, in Bombay, and I moved to the United States to go to college in Cleveland, Ohio.
Where did you go to? Case Western?
Case Western, that's right. Yeah, it's a great school. Yeah. So I stayed at Case Western for undergrad and then also went to law school at Case. And was very fortunate to meet my husband actually the first week of my undergrad first year.
Oh my God, he swept you off his feet. Were you an item
from
day one?
Oh, he was great, yes. So we started dating in November. We were friends first. And so ended up getting married the week after I graduated from law school.
Practical.
Which I will tell you is a crazy time to get married when you're judging or working through your final year's exams and then preparing to study for the bar exam.
And think about your future job, where to go, where we're going to live. His family's from Ohio, right?
His family is a long time Ohio family.
Hamilton County. No, I don't know if it's the same family. But
no, they're in southern Ohio in the Dayton area. Mm-hmm. So we go back there about once a year.
Trump country, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Interesting family reunions. But so yes. What were you thinking though? Did you plan to stay in the U.S. or you had no ideas where you're heading?
I don't think I'd thought about it. Mm-hmm. I think that I probably had a pretty good idea that I was going to stay in the U.S. when I went to law school here, because the legal training is different than what would be required to practice in India. But by then, my husband and I had been dating for 4 years. I felt we both felt fairly committed, and in
careers
fact,
were starting now.
Careers were starting, and I think we were comfortable with that decision. And so we have 2 children. My son Kieran is 14. My daughter Ava is 11. And we actually lived in Pennsylvania for a while, and then moved back to New Jersey. Mostly picked West Windsor because of the schools, like everybody does. We have an excellent school system, and so we're very happy here.
Well, you jumped too fast because I want to get back. Now, again, a lot of, you're American, but you're also Indian, and a lot of, we do have, I have to admit, maybe a provincial view. What about your parents? Did they have a problem with you marrying a Caucasian, a non-Indian? Is there a class system issue arising?
Not at all. In
Really?
fact, my mother spent a few of her years growing up in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
My grandfather was part of the UN economic delegation from India, so he was in D.C. for a few years, in New York for a few years. So they were quite comfortable with the idea of me coming abroad for college.
And not even coming back, really.
And not coming back. Now, the interesting twist that everybody is shocked they let me do this is I'm an only child. And so the question they got constantly was, "You're going to let her go?"
Right, exactly.
And so they're very young. They're young parents, just in their mid-60s. So they travel a fair amount, and so we meet them in Europe, so they don't have to come all the way here. And once a year they will come to the United States, so my kids are growing up knowing them as well, and having a good relationship with them.
Right, so both sides of the family, the influence and the closeness is there.
And that's important to us.
Right, and at the same time, I guess in your DNA is an intellect, public service, and an internationalism, a broad view of the world and politics and everything.
Right, I think that helps. I mean, growing up, so my mother's father was also the chairman of the Indian Federal Reserve Bank.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And
it's like
so,
Ben Bernanke type.
type. And so he, and I think it's very cool, actually got to sign currency for 1 year.
Yeah, that's,
exactly.
Look,
his signature's on the bill. It's a impressive thing, but growing up, I didn't have that sense of who he was. Right.
He was just.
But he was just my grandpa. But we would have these great conversations about history and law and politics.
Nauru, England, the whole thing.
Absolutely.
World War II. He was there. He's in the middle of all of it.
He lived
Gandhi.
through all of it. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. That's serious history.
So he had a lot to share. My father's father as well was a meteorologist, and he and I would have these great weekends where he would pick me up and take me off to my grandparents' house, and we would just have these great conversations about politics and history.
And you're the only child, too.
I mean, I was the only grandchild.
Many parents, in a way.
Yes.
But also nurtured, educated.
Absolutely. And I love that none of my grandparents nor my parents have ever talked down to me. So it's always been this expectation of, you are old enough to understand the issues, we're going to talk to you about the issues, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, doesn't matter. And that was very much what my husband and I do with our kids. So
kind of like little adults with common sense thrown in.
Exactly. But so we don't sugarcoat politics. We don't sugarcoat the issues happening at the national level.
And they can understand it and also come to their own conclusions and everything.
Absolutely. So in fact, I drive, both my kids are competitive swimmers and they swim for Petty. So as you might imagine, we spend a lot of time at the pool and driving to and from the pool. Right. And when I pick up my daughter and her little 11-year-old friend, the first thing he gets in the car and he says, law question. And so we talk policy. We talk about,
That's
gun
good
control.
practice for you, too, because you could distill information and make it accessible to everyone.
Absolutely.
Which is hard to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
I try to explain what I do on this show, and I confuse people, and I don't think it's as complicated as law or zoning in West Windsor or something.
All right. Well, try explaining it to an 11-year-old, and you really break it down to the bits and pieces. And I will say to this little guy that he helps me a lot, and my daughter helps me a lot, because when you break it down to the simplest bare bones pieces, you're really forced to look at all of the issues.
Exactly. You have to re-examine. It's kind of like therapy.
It is.
But your kids have to be special, because I had to be smacked occasionally. I was running around and stuff. So you're the private law practice. Your husband, what does he do?
He's a chemical engineer, so he works for Teva Pharmaceuticals.
So you moved because of him. I mean, what was his progression to come to West Windsor, Central New Jersey?
So we were after we were married, we lived in Princeton. Actually, we lived above.
I'll talk to you now. Yeah. You're not from West Windsor. Above where?
We lived above PJ's Pancake House on Nassau Street.
People thought that was a house of prostitution when I was a kid. Well,
it is not now. It wasn't when I was there.
No, there was a woman who did massages, Swedish woman. It was a long story. So there was no ghost. You didn't find anything funny. Okay, but
no, I didn't. No, in fact, I loved that apartment.
I would. That's like Manhattan to me. You could walk
it was
every
so
place.
Central.
Yeah, you didn't have kids then, I guess.
We did not have kids, so.
That was a little nest.
Yeah, I loved it. And in fact, it was right after the fire at PJ's. So the apartment had completely been redone. It was beautiful.
And modern.
Modern.
You should have stayed.
Oh.
Put the kids in a closet. It's a great location.
Right.
And stuff.
Well, in fact, when we moved back to the area, I said to my husband, I'm like, well, we could go back to that apartment. And he said, even if it was available, where would we put the kids and all of our stuff that we have acquired now?
That's true,
too. I'm okay with getting rid of the stuff, but I'm going to keep the kids.
Yeah, that's the downside of bourgeoisie living, though. You need more space and everything.
Right, exactly.
So you come to West Windsor, and you do all these things, but why politics? Some people told me, some Indians have told me, even though now they're starting to get into politics in America, because they're a force now. I mean,
right.
But they said in India, politicians are dirty. It's really a low. I mean, maybe but it's seen as really corrupt. I mean, is that?
I think that is generally, I will call it a misconception that we do as Indians have about politics. Is that you've got to be on the take and you've got to be.
It's very black and white. Yeah,
right.
You're dirty.
You're just dirty.
You're a nasty person.
So I actually did not ever envision being involved in politics. I was asked to run for council because the council candidate that they had on the ticket was unwell and couldn't run. And actually, I had to be asked 3 times before I said yes.
Yeah, you have a law practice, kids.
Well, and I thought, why would I do that? What is the point of that? I have to say it has been the best experience of my life. I have enjoyed the public service aspect of it. I have no patience for the politics aspect of it, which may mean that my time in politics is short-lived. Who knows? But I truly am engaged by the public service aspect of it. And let me tell you what that means. To me, I have spent my last 20 years in my law practice as an employment lawyer, which means representing women and minorities, generally people of a certain age, as they're getting pushed out of their jobs. And I have
wrongly or unfairly?
Wrongful termination cases. And
so it's people's livelihoods. It's people's essential human rights.
Exactly. And that has been, as I started my own practice, I really wanted to focus on, I made a specific choice to focus on that area because I felt that we needed to have people speaking for those who could not otherwise speak for themselves.
And fundamentally help their lives.
Exactly, and make a difference.
Right.
But I sensed just a great amount of frustration in I'm doing this one case at a time, I'm not making any difference. Right. And it's so when I got to sort of sit up on the dais at the council meetings and actually argue a point and be able to advocate for something and to be able to move the ball forward.
And pass a law that could help
exactly.
someone keep a job longer, get more unemployment or something.
Exactly.
Affect more people. Right.
And so we don't get to address those issues at council, at the local level, but I had some sense of satisfaction of we were approving projects that were good for the greater good. Mm-hmm. That
Such
made
as what,
sense.
Like affordable housing in a city center, high density.
So talking about sort of projects that might enhance our town better, right? Talking about how we can examine. So I actually spent a fair amount of time last year looking into commercial tax ratables to sort of find out how are we taxing our entities? Are we always talk about how we have too much residential, the burden of the tax is too far on the residential, not enough on the commercial. Right. And research that I did revealed that we are actually not taxing our commercial entities appropriately. We're assessing them too low, which means they're not paying their fair share of tax.
That's the amazing thing. So this fundamental problem was happening. And why does it happen, though? People just are too busy? Or
I think it was actually a statewide policy over the last 8 years of, well, we need to take care of our businesses and encourage business investment, encourage businesses coming to New Jersey and staying in New Jersey, so we're going to give them tax subsidies. And that is what we saw in West Windsor, but we've seen it as an issue around the state
But
as
did
well.
it even out? Did it bring enough people? Was it worth all these subsidies? Did it
I'm
bring
not
enough
entirely sure, and as a residential taxpayer, I will tell you,
it could even
I
up
don't
better.
love the subsidy.
Right.
Right?
So it could even up. So people might stay and they could pay more.
Exactly. And our taxes in West Windsor are high. Your taxes in Princeton are high. We are, to be perfectly honest, these two towns are carrying the rest of the county. Right. We pay a significant amount of tax. We have high property values. We hold our property values. They maintain. We have great schools.
Right.
So all of these similarities between West Windsor and Princeton, I think, make us the jewels of Mercer County. And I'm very proud of our town for that. I think we really have an incredible group of people, an incredible township, a great administration. We have really good people.
Okay, give me the platitudes. But you're a smart woman. So and again, you can't. I'm not an all or nothing person. I know you can't change that in one day, and there's a reason why other areas like Trenton or whatever can't give as much. But so one small thing to alleviate a little bit would be what, to tax these businesses more, commercial entities?
I don't even want to tax them more. I want to tax them at the appropriate rates.
Okay, and get back to
so
that.
I'll give you the example of Market Fair. Is in their own SEC filings they're claiming their fair market value to be $104 million. We assess them at $50 million. So they're being taxed on $50 million instead of 104.
That's empirical evidence, and it could be seen by a third party to say,
Absolutely,
right.
absolutely. And there's other examples like
And
that.
they'll say that we need, but you don't want us to leave. They'll probably try to say you don't want us
Right.
to leave, right, or something like that.
Right. And so that's, that's something that we don't need to go further into now.
Right.
But there are things like that that we can do. And no question, West Windsor should have more commercial ratables. And it should be the right kind of commercial ratables.
Smart, right.
Smart growth, right?
Right.
That's what we need. One of the issues that people talk about in West Windsor all the time is wanting a great walkable downtown. Well, they want Princeton, right? And
Right
who
now,
doesn't?
that's what it is. Right,
Right.
now, yeah.
But you need to make sure that you grow in the right way. You need to make sure that our roads and parking and infrastructure can support that type of growth, right? So I do sometimes have trouble finding parking in Princeton, especially if you have a university event like a regatta or something going on. We just don't come into Princeton.
Right.
But
You're right, though. You have to do it right. If you don't do it right and it's congested, it's not attractive, it's not clean,
Right.
stores aren't what people need or want, and
Exactly.
it's not accessible, people wouldn't go anyway. So then
Exactly.
Right. So
And
you
you
have to
don't-
manage the future.
Exactly, and you have to have a vision for it.
Right.
And I think that the people in our administration have years and years of experience in planning, in community development, and I have a lot of respect for them. And any time that I have gone and asked a question, I feel as though I have gotten a straight answer.
Oh, really? So people do, yeah, right.
They're communicative, and they're really, I wasn't giving you platitudes.
Okay.
It's really a good team there.
Yeah, because I think we have the same, you don't have to agree with everything, and I'm not here to kiss Mayor Lampert's ass, nor is she asking me. But no, they do a pretty good job, and don't forget, they're not doing it for the money.
That's
They're not
right.
angling, that I know of, to become, secretary of this or
No.
something. Stuff.
And I will tell you, I mean, I've had an opportunity to sit with Mayor Lampert. She is an impressive woman, and she is not doing it for the money.
No.
But she does have a vision, and she does have the intelligence and a very quiet way of making sure that she is doing the best for this town, and I truly believe that she is.
And I've gotten that too, now that I've looked more into it too. Not that people always like to make comments and sound important, but then do they ever actually look into the weeds? When I've talked to her and seen what, she learns what's going on.
That's
she
right.
has a vision. She sees how things are interconnected, and at the same time, she knows there's politics too. There's balancing, should I say, interests, and you're not going to please everybody.
Right.
And stuff, you tear down a house and you put a bigger one in. It might help good for the tax base. It might drive
Right.
someone's property value up. But you got to balance all those things.
Right. And I will say, though, in Mercer County, we do have actually more than other counties, more women in leadership roles. So if you think of Mayor Lampert, you think of Mayor Janice Marinoff from East Windsor.
East Windsor, right.
Very
In
impressive.
Hamilton, we had
Mayor Yady,
right.
very, very impressive women, very strong women, intelligent women. There are some very basic characteristics that go with these women in leadership that is truly to be respected.
So where do you head now, though, with politics? You like issues. You seem to have a passion. You want to help. You were thinking of running for assembly. You said right now you don't know what that is. That's in flux. What are the immediate needs for Mercer County or West Windsor, and where do you sit with that?
I will say that Mercer County, I think West Windsor as well, and certainly in the 15th Legislative District, I think you need more people who are focused on policy and not politics. And I would like to see more of that. Obviously, I think that I'm someone who is focused more on policy because I am. I enjoy the policy discussions. I think if you do not get into the weeds on policy discussions, then you are not truly being able to make a difference.
Right.
And so what that takes is a ridiculous amount of research, a huge amount of listening. If you do not listen enough, you're not going to know what people need and want.
Right.
And
So
one
you're
of
saying
the
really listen.
really listen. One of the things I truly enjoyed about this last sort of very brief run for the assembly.
There was to fill the seat vacated by Liz Murillo.
That's right. So she was appointed to be our state treasurer, which is very impressive.
Right.
And so that left a vacancy in the district that needed to be filled by convention of the 15th Legislative District Committee people.
Right.
And it had to be done in 30 days. So we literally had about 2 weeks of campaigning. And what that campaigning process was going to the various towns in the 15th Legislative District, and you do your stump speech.
You talk about your vision, what your qualifications.
Exactly. And then you stay and you answer questions. And I loved the question part, right? I don't like to hear myself talk. I want to hear what's important to you,
Right.
and I want to then be able to answer your questions.
And so that I can do it.
That's right.
I actually know what
Right.
I'm talking about.
And one of
give
the
an
people
example of the question.
came back to me afterwards, after one of the township meetings, and said the thing they appreciated most about me was that I was not afraid to say, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find it for you.
Right, right.
And I will look into that. And he said that whereas some of the other candidates, you could tell they didn't know the answer, but went to a canned response, he said, I appreciated your honesty. And I think there is no shame in saying, listen, I don't know the answer to that, but here's how I would approach it.
Right.
Here's what my process of analysis would be. And if I found X or if I found Y, is where, my decision making would take place.
And even more important, I think you'd be responsive too. You'd actually get back to them in a couple.
Absolutely. So in fact, I make a point of making sure that people have my phone number, that people have my business card. I do get emails and text messages from people asking questions.
You got one from me.
That's right. And I do always make sure that I get back to people. And I think people, especially in West Windsor, people appreciate that. So I get emails, what's going on so-and-so road? And I'll say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. And I do get back to them.
Do you enjoy that part? It's kind of almost like being an investigator, detective.
I love it.
You have your connections, you know where to go, you can look, you figure things, and then, right.
And I think what's important is for the residents, whether you elected me or not, to know that you can reach out to me and that I have the access to find the answer for you.
And expertise too.
Exactly. So one of the things I do as a councilwoman, and not sort of in my official role as council, but I send out a newsletter by email to anyone who wants to sign up for it. And I give an update of if there was a particularly contentious issue. I always explain how I vote. I think you are absolutely entitled to know how I voted for something and why I voted in a particular way. And I think that's your duty as being a resident to ask those questions. And it is my responsibility as an elected official to always be able to answer them.
Do you find that being authentic and transparent, people even don't agree with you still like you and want to be
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is what I would want from my elected official.
You really don't have to fudge. If you actually are frank with people and do your job, you find that people will actually maybe even support you, even if they don't agree with you on everything.
Exactly. And I think that's actually all anybody ever wants is an honest answer.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, I think you want an honest, well-reasoned answer. Just like if you ever said to your kid, just because, it's not going to fly.
It is true. It does not,
never works.
I would love it if you would do this because.
Exactly.
Your daddy's busy, can you clean this?
Explain.
Yeah, right. And then also kind of make you feel important.
Right. But I also feel even as an enhanced responsibility because I was given this position of trust. I was placed in by an election, right? I take that really seriously.
No, but you do have a lot of serious policies that affect people, from housing and also our money.
That's
our
right.
money.
That's right.
You really can't half the budget that goes through the schools anyway. It's hard to control.
Right. We only get 15% of our budget.
I think in Princeton it's 20%.
Yeah.
So if people go, why don't we cut 2%? 2% of 20 that could be potholes this big.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I will tell you, we are going through our budgeting process now. I have in the past 2 years that I have gone through a budgeting process, municipalities are working very close to the wire on what they have. There isn't waste. There isn't graft and corruption like you might see elsewhere.
Yeah, I hear that nonsense too. Exactly. It's limited resources. It's actually, and there's a lot of things to do. There's capital projects all the time.
Right.
There's debt you have to service. I don't know if West Windsor has debt, but you have debt too.
Sure, and just even filling the potholes after the winter, right?
Yeah.
Even snow removal. I mean, trash, we have brush pickup. We cover that as a township. We cover the cost of trash removal.
And then run over, sewage, all that too you have to
Right.
grapple with, and then more growth and everything.
Right.
And everything.
And one of the things we see in our township that is, is frustrating is we have volunteer fire departments. So 2 fire companies with probably over 100 fire volunteers, right? These are residents who are, for nothing, putting their lives on the line to save me and my cat, and
And that's important too, because that would cost a whole lot.
Yeah.
To the budget if you can't keep that volunteer.
Exactly. So if you think about, let's quantify that. If we had to charge a fire district tax, each homeowner or each home would pay an additional $800 a year.
That could break some people on fixed incomes.
Absolutely, and that's a huge increase in tax.
Yeah.
So why not send your fire department a $20 donation?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
You have to
that
explain
simple.
and educate, then people will start self-advocating when
That's
they really
right.
know it.
That's right.
Yeah, people like to knock on, sometimes, and I don't agree everything Princeton University does, but they help, they let their own employees go and join the fire department and also leave work when they're needed.
That's
I mean,
great.
it's
I
a
didn't know
huge,
that.
it's a huge savings.
Yeah.
We only have about 3 minutes left. I'll say I discovered her for Princeton TV, but quiet charisma, very intelligent, quite articulate and kind, and you seem like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. There's no guile, there's no narcissism. I mean, if I was elected to anything, I'd be a potentate. But but I don't know. But my point is, yes, you're kind, sincere, and quite articulate. Where can people get your newsletter online? How can they reach you? And
if people just email me, I think the email address might be on the screen. I'm happy to add you to the newsletter. You can reach out to me anytime. My cell phone number is 215-738-0222.
You're not going on dates, though?
No, I'm not going on dates.
Make sure.
No. I will say, though, that it was funny. I got some feedback about having a 215 area code cell phone number.
Philly.
It's Philly. Well, we used to live in Pennsylvania, and everybody I know, including kids and such, have that cell phone number. So please don't be offended that I don't have a 609 area code number. That's just my cell phone.
Mm-hmm. I have one question in the final 2 minutes. I only got one from West Windsor. Usually we get questions from the street in Princeton. I don't even know what you can grapple with this one. My one question is, a lot of the old condos that have been built in West Windsor are falling apart. How is the council involved in that? I don't know. That's what they said.
Well, all of the old condos are privately owned, right? So it's owned by a developer or a management company, a private commercial landowner. So we in West Windsor may not necessarily, as a township, be able to compel certain changes.
It's up to them. Yeah, okay. Only. Okay.
However, we do have some affordable housing units that are in an all-affordable development. And we require, and the state of New Jersey requires, that they be maintained at a specific standard. So if those units are dropping below certain standards, West Windsor Township has taken a proactive step to make sure that they are meeting code, meeting standards.
Yeah, I was around when they were built, and now they're over 35 years old. So that's housing stock that, it might not be being kept up, or maybe it is. I'm not, I don't. But they're old.
And there's always disputes with landlords and trying, where it is tenant versus private landowner. The township really doesn't have anything.
You have to respect the private property in the process, right?
And we have a code enforcement responsibility, but we don't necessarily. Anything more than that would really be up to the landlord and the tenant, and be governed by the lease.
Well, Ayesha Hamilton, I hope you will come back. Maybe you run for. I don't know what you're going to be running for. You don't know either right now.
I don't know either.
You're in flux. You're in flux. It's a philosophical, theological quagmire you might be in right now.
That's right.
But I'm sure you'll be someplace, and you'll come back on the show.
I definitely will.
Maybe we can have coffee too this weekend.
Absolutely.
Or something. Well,
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Ayesha Hamilton, West Windsor Councilwoman. We'll be right back. Adam Bierman, Breezin with Bierman. Loren Lepre, the man of the hour. He's actually the more visionary commercial guy here, and he's helped, again, launch the show to higher levels. And he's our local Philadelphia film legend, Average Superstar Films. Always working on something. Right now, Black Military is still in the news, and it's still
Black military. We're the black military now. You're only in the film.
Like my soul, 7 lines, and now that will be edited out, but that's okay. Dark military is still in the news, and what's going? You're still garnering awards
Right now, yeah, currently in the film world right now for Average Superstar Films, the Dark Military is on its 4th edit. We've had about nearly 30 press reviews. Things are going really good. We're also about 2.5 years in. And,
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like right at the end, we're doing our 4th edit, and we're going to be heading to sales. Hopefully, have it all ready for the world to see for this fall, for October, for Halloween, and then move on to the next. But there's a lot of dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and making sure, getting every little bit of kink out. Because when you put this much time in, and when you're an indie guy, you have to work extremely harder than everybody else. Because
when an opportunity comes, you can't blow it with a stupid kink or bad audio.
You have to be prepared. You got to have the right presentation. And I have like 6 ingredients to what I do. I have like myself, Loren Lepre, the actor, which I got Bierman show, which I do here at Princeton University. I have Freedom Shorts.
We're Princeton town. We're the town of Princeton. The university is actually across the street.
See, now I messed up, so we're
He's from
one
Philadelphia. It's very, very provincial. No, I'm sorry.
Better than the black military.
You're a Flyer fan too, but we will discuss that. But anyway, dark military. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, but then you also have Freedom Shorts that I do, the Short Film Fest. I also have Liberty Massacre, another film fest that I do. Yeah, the Pennsylvania Hardcore documentary.
I know.
And the Dark Military. I have 6 ingredients, 6 gears moving at all times.
I know. I just don't get it. I know that when you live it, you learn it, you can do it, but still, that's a lot of balls and a lot of. I think your brain can only keep 15 things in
at
one
think
time.
So, and myself as the actor is the ultimate one that has suffered lately because it just when one area is strong, the other one's
right.
So it's hard to keep them all up. So now that the Dark Military is coming to an end, I kind of exhale and concentrate more on the film festival.
You must be a little tired of the whole thing, the production.
You are, because it's like a great quote from Orson Welles. He just says you spend 100% of your time trying to get 100% financing for your films to fight for 5% of it back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane. So why do I do this? Well, it's called legacy. You either want to do this or you don't.
Right. Because if you dwell on that, you're not going to do it.
You don't want to sit there in life at the end and say you didn't give it your all.
Exactly.
I got a network. I've come from the wrestling world. I understand what it was like to hustle.
He was a UCF wrestler.
UFC stuff. I mean, I was never in the UFC, but I did the MMA thing. But
I threatened you the first. I go, he better put me in his film, else I'm going to kick his ass. And you came in, you said I'm a wrestler too, and I was like, sorry, sir, I was just joking. But anyway, yes, that's the thing. Yeah, if you're going to be a cynic, you wouldn't do it because but then you'd never do it at all. You wouldn't be in the game. But you put heart, soul, sweat. It's been going on forever.
Yeah, even like 3 nights this week, and then I call myself the average superstar. Films comes from a nickname I had, Average Superstar. Like, hey, I do all this cool stuff. I was a wrestler. At conventions, I'm kind of where you need to be.
Yeah.
I train with all these MMA guys. I got all these ties, yet every morning I got to wake up at 6. You're just an average guy. I go right back. I'm blue collar. Right. So on top of that, when you get out, then this door opens.
Right.
And it just never ends. When you get out of work, you're literally running to your computer, running to your phone, and you don't know what's going to hit you.
Right, exactly.
You got a lot of masters to serve here.
And you have to get back to them, and you have to tell them things.
You have to get back to them, but it's another thing. Is like especially when you run a film festival, especially when it started, you have a lot of people that jumped on your wagon. Was like, oh, he's doing great. He's screening everybody's film. And after 2 years, you kind of sit everybody down. You're like, listen, I'm about to kick this up. We're going to get films in from around the world. I need all of us to be at the par. We all got to step up our game.
Right.
And
it's nothing personal.
It's not that personal, but when then they give you the next project and it's not up to par, when you kindly deny them, it's betrayal.
Right.
It's betrayal to them. Oh, I supported you.
They refuse to see the other side of the coin.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, worried about what, I don't like to sound like the bagger because I'm not, but if you can't handle a rejection from me, how are you going to handle A-list?
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, though, too. And also, you were fair. You did give them time. You told them this is going to happen. And also, it's your baby. Just like if you got a job in Hollywood, what, you're supposed to give them jobs too?
No.
It doesn't work that way anyway.
No. That's the worst cutthroat world. So it's just like, hey, I know somebody. If it's a handsome guy or a handsome girl in their 20s, I know someone who's going to get me in there. No, because if you're just as good looking as them, they're not making competition for themselves. So let me get you auditions. That's
No.
never going to happen.
It's a mercenary world. You
Yes.
should expect that. And what they should say, you give so much for this show, so I feel I'm helping. I'm giving you therapy.
Okay.
I want you
to
to
give me some therapy.
No,
Mr.
what they should
Councilman.
say. What they should say. You can't mention that. Don't say that.
Okay.
We don't know anything about. I'm a conciliatory person. That's what you said.
Okay.
But what they should say is like, I understand and I wish you luck because you worked your ass off and you deserve to get to the next level.
Yes.
And what can I do to make my film better? If they know that you're an honest, straight, which you have always been, and authentic, they should actually be happy for your advice because you tell them what you're supposed to do and and stuff. And better luck next time, Charlie.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost more like, well, F you. I got a life here too.
It is, but you also have to realize when you're coming into, not even just film, but anything. Anytime you're a boss, you're either going to be, when you're taking care of everyone, you're loved. When something goes wrong, someone doesn't get a raise, someone doesn't get a part, someone doesn't,
Right.
all targets are on you.
Yeah, especially again, and also, but you have. I've seen you've always been fair. You've been really straightforward and transparent, and also you've told people what direction we're going.
Yep.
So it seems really childish on their part.
Well, usually the people that don't like you, they don't last long.
Right. Anyway.
They,
right.
they'll go on to something else.
What is average? So, I mean, you're getting so many. Last time I talked to you, and I remember I wanted to go to the last film, but I had illness in the family. You're getting. I've talked to other people. I do some due diligence on you.
Very
I
good.
got you. I have to. But you're getting more and you're also a victim of your success there because it's more work and you have to reject more films, but you're getting more films.
You get more films. Right now, for the next Freedom Shorts, which will be, this is my 6th year going in, 2018. I got the most selections, like the most submitted
From around the
films.
world.
From around the world.
Yeah.
So the longer you're around, the more videos they see of you and everything. Good to have very good promotional reel. People need to see your festival. So I see a lot of festivals where it's just like they just have pictures in front of their banner, but you don't see the venue.
Right.
I like to get my camera and move.
Hint.
Yeah.
These people really are.
I have
they should be.
I have these. I've been doing the last year at 3 different venues. You need to see all that. The filmmaker should know what they're submitting to. When I was submitting Dark Military to some of the
That's a
festivals,
legacy. That's a testimony to your legacy.
yeah. But when I'm submitting my film, because to festivals, I'm looking at every picture, and if I'm not seeing the location itself, it could be a little bit dicey.
Yeah, you've been there before. You're an educated consumer because you've been there before.
Yeah, I've also realized, and this is sad to say to fellow filmmakers, that there's film festivals that aren't even looking at your film. One of the best, when you have a film on YouTube, that's not the best professional way to host your film. But if you could get it on Vimeo, when you have a Vimeo account, you could track if your film was viewed the day and how long the time was.
Right.
Now, if you submit it to about 12 different festivals and you get rejected by 3, but you see it was played once, well, one of them gave you a shot. 2 of these people just took your money and ran.
Right.
But you can't tell where it came from. But it's such a sad world with that. It's just like there's people out there just looking to get the submission fee and not even watch.
Yeah, it's a new
film.
world. The fragmented, because you've all these. Yeah, you have so many film festivals, and some of them are just blunt. All they want is money, or these are people who think they know what they're doing. They're
I think
half-assed.
it's a little of everything. I think you
Everything.
get people who know exactly what they're doing. You got the ones that think they know what they're doing, and you got some that are just
Scam artists, maybe.
scam artists. I always say, if you've been around a while and you're giving out paper awards at the end of the night, you're just out for the money. I was giving out paper awards when I first started, but there was no money at the beginning.
Right.
Now that I'm on Film Freeway, I get money. Everybody gets a plaque.
And you're at the
gets a trophy.
Trocadero in downtown Philly.
Yeah, that's rent.
Yeah.
Marketing is rent. You
Right.
want to get back to the filmmakers and everything. And at the same time, you got like filmmaker. I accept about 40 films each event. At the end of the night, I don't know how this seems to work out this way. I swear, I might get a couple filmmakers come up and say thank you, and then the rest of them go out the door.
You're
Some of them
kidding me.
You never hear from again.
That's really rude.
It's really rude.
It's like coming to your house to a party and never acknowledging
and not thanking you.
Yeah.
But there's some people that they only will talk to you when they have another film.
That's so short-sighted, anyway, from a business sense.
Business sense, but at the same time, I've been doing this for like I said, 6 years. I now communicate with like 100 filmmakers from around the world that works to my advantage.
Okay, I have to stop you now. Doing your therapy, you're running on adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
You're obsessed with perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a little manic?
As being depressed?
Yeah.
No. I can't do that. because even the few times a year you might get down a little bit, the fact I even took a knee, once I get up, it's like
That's just you.
I get green and turn right into the Hulk, and I go even further.
So how do you renew yourself? How do you renew your batteries? What pleasure do you get?
Because it's like right now I could actually say this is a positive thing with the Dark Military fourth edit going on 2.5 years in. Every kink that I stared at that film, I'm like, it'd be cool if we could do this or edit it this way or.
It's not overanalyzing.
Yeah. My editor Steve Curio sometimes like, dude, stop. But at the same time,
you can always find something wrong.
Look with George Lucas, how many times he ready to edit those first 3 Star Wars films. The Ewoks. Now I can make them blink. He goes back in and makes them blink. So I think every director has that. But it's legacy.
Do you have a Walter Mitty fantasy though, which somewhat plausible, but that something might happen? That talent meets what's the line? Talent meets not luck, but chance. You think always in the back of your head?
I think there's always people staring at you. I always think people have their eye on you.
Really?
So that's one of the things I'm very big, like clean on social media. No one ever knows if I was ever a Republican, a Democrat, or a third party. Right. Just say his name.
Keep that in the back burner.
And keep it and focus on your work. They should hear your name and know your work. But at the same time, if you got a little bit of an edge to you, there's a ceiling with that, but don't hide that.
Right.
Because in case anyone ever sees, like, don't.
Right.
You have to know what ceiling not to crash through.
But why alienate anyone when you don't have to? You don't have to discuss Donald Trump right now.
No.
You don't have to make grandiose. I consider myself liberal, but any self-righteous, diatribes drive me crazy on Facebook.
Yeah.
People just want to hear it. Yeah. You're here making your films and everything.
I'm all about that. And, if you side with something, sometimes like, hey, I'm for abortion or I'm not for abortion, you could have someone who strongly had money over here. I know someone who said the word white privilege and had like $100,000 set for the film. The investor took it away.
I could believe it.
Over just one wrong sentence. And I'm like, why did you open your mouth?
Yeah. And you didn't have to. Yeah.
You didn't have to.
Right. It wasn't all your integrity and character and everything. You didn't have to say it. You didn't have to broach that right now.
And I was always also a big believer on don't say anything until it's positively happening.
Yeah.
Like the ball's rolling. And so many people like, I wrote a script. Hey, and they made a Facebook page for their film, and they have no money. At all. I'm like, just stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
First of all, you've been hit over the head. You know it can go wrong. Even with, anything. You might have a good intentions. You might even think it could happen, but it's all theory until you really start doing something and get hit with a lot of issues that can come up.
And when the Dark Military is finally done and out, the end of this year, nobody at all has any clue to what I'm up to next. Because I don't want to speak it. Because up until then, something could go wrong.
And you don't want to be a poser either.
No.
Because I don't want to hear posers anymore. All these people tell me grandiose things. But it's true. Show me something before. It's just still talk until you show me something.
It is. And to top it all, if my job's not done with the Dark Military, I got to go through all this distribution stuff. I can't be looking at.
Now, who helps you with all that? No. I'll stop again. I'm trying to catch him. Stop. Girlfriend, opposite sex. Do you maintain a healthy relationship?
Well, I can tell you right now, for any relationship, family, the film business isn't for you. It most likely it will fall.
Right. So it's like politics, being a surgeon. That's your mistress. It's your master.
It takes up that much of your time.
If you're gonna do it right.
Yes, I know tons of, especially actors and actresses, like their marriages will all fall apart because they're usually sooner or later the ultimatum comes up of like it's either the business or me. And they always choose the business.
Really?
I always see that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, and to top it off, like, you're a family man. Your kid might have something. Someone could call you and be like, Adam, you got to take this part. It's got to be today. Oh, it's my daughter's graduation. Exactly. So it's like you have a giant. If you say no to those big producers at the time,
and I want you to know, I've written down all your suggestions. You notice sometimes they're not implemented. Mm-hmm. That's why. Mm-hmm. Because I don't have the time to devote to figure out, and maybe I couldn't do them all because of various reasons. But that's why.
Yeah. And I wish I could clone myself and put myself in other areas. But every day you got people that are writing you just asking basic questions. How do I get an LLC? Same way I got an LLC. I Googled it.
A little initiative here.
Yeah, please. It's like I can't stop for everybody. So when people are writing me for all these questions and I don't answer you. I'm sorry. I have to have time to breathe and drink water.
Not that I'm as accomplished as you are in the biz and know it. I've noticed that people, I don't even know if they realize they've gotten a little lazy. They just think, I'll ask him, and then they think that you explain everything and hold their hand. It's like you're an adult. Yeah. And these days with the internet, you can Google how to do an LLC. You can get a WikiHow with pictures to break it down to you.
Yes.
I mean, it's right there.
The internet's really there. You could YouTube half steps.
Oh
half
yeah,
the times,
yeah, and then
you know?
play it 3 times if you didn't understand it and everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's,
But the problem is, you are a charismatic doer. Not that you're a bad person, and not that you're not out to help people, but people see that he'll take care of it. Loren take care of it. Loren will do it.
yeah.
Like my dad used to say, Bob's gonna, because at the end of the day, Daddy would take care of it. The plumbing, or he'd call someone. We were kids and everything. And then he was the man. You seem like the guy, since you are like Sally Tazelaar too. You go A to Z and touch all bases. You get it done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then you sometimes, like, coming off the hot hand of the dark military, I had people hit me up to be in their films, and it'd be like, oh, we're filming like 90 minutes away. Yeah, no problem. And I had one that was a vampire western that was given a role, and I said,
I
okay.
could see you.
I said okay. And then they sent me a link to where you could buy western clothes. So I said to them, I go, well, where's?
Thanks.
I said, where's? I go, what's the budget? Like, where's the cutoff with the clothing? And they're like, oh no, you got to buy it all yourself. I'm like,
What the hell?
I go, well, who am I getting put up? Am I getting reimbursed for any of this? I go,
Gas?
plus the gas. They're like, no. And I said, well, I go, we got a problem here. 5 minutes later, you're no longer in the film. I swear to God, this happened. I swear to God, this happened to me.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask, but I could see why. If they looked at your resume, you're probably a little too busy to deal with all that stuff.
I look at is for actors out there, if there's a film that has names attached to it, and they're asking you to do work for free, and it's shot on red, that's something I wouldn't mind doing. I'm still in that category. I would work free if it was shot in red and there's names. If they're
Shot
not
in red?
shot on the red camera,
Oh,
like the
the
CAD RAM, it's like the top camera out there.
okay.
There's a few versions of it.
You're
But
talking about higher level productions.
higher level
Sarah-
productions.
Right.
The F word's still out there for me, free. It's not that. It's not
It'd be something quality.
It's not quality. But if someone's just like, hey, we're shooting this short film and you're driving to and from, and
You should be happy.
their food is going to be Domino's Pizza for 5 straight days, and they have no plan for marketing.
I've run into that one before.
It's just like, get out of there. And an actor should be holding all these directors in check for anything that does not come out.
Go your database, report IMDb, whatever. Just report them. Stay away.
I don't know. I don't even know if you could do that in IMDb, but I'm just saying more in general.
What are we saying here?
That is Average Superstar TV,
Oh, right,
episode 9.
Oh my God.
And that's the director, and that's me. Speaking of his film, and this is called Gold Medal.
Gotcha.
And that's
It's just too much. You're a
Villanova.
You're a
Villanova
media
movie.
omnivore.
Yes.
You're eating everything.
You eat everything, and you also look at, like, with the filmmakers that I have met through my film festival that have like 100 laurels and won of all those awards. Those are the people to stay in touch with. You need to network with those people. Those are the people. So we're like, oh Lord, come out to networking events anymore because no one's doing anything.
Right.
Locally, anyway. That I know of.
It's just really a waste of your time.
It's a waste of your time. If I could get a night just to sit still, and then top it all off, when you're at this level, and I don't think this is some major level, I'm proud of everything.
No,
I've
but
done.
you've achieved a local legend, serious credibility film level, and you know the business.
Thank you much. But when I go to these folks, it's just everybody running, trying to get something off me. I'm like I'm here to get acting roles and get funding. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not here to. Sorry, I'm not here to help
you still have your day job. That's why it's a crazy business.
I know.
Just stay and actually get paid to do this. It's hard, and you even get paid. It's still. I talk to people out in L.A. The Actors Guild, 9% might work, 3% only work consistently.
Yes.
And that means really 93% are just
And it's also like time's up. The 80s actors, when the 90s come, they like literally shut the door on them. And the 90s actors, when that end, they shut the door on them. That's why I always said if I ever was getting a major check, that's all I want to do is pay my house off.
Right.
And if I got more, I just want to buy more real estate.
It's
because
really
there could be a day where I'm the cool. Maybe I'm. It works out for me.
You get 3 years on a
I'm the
sitcom.
cool guy, and everybody money. One day they could be like, who's lame? Loren.
Right.
Done. And you're out, and you blew all your money.
That's what I saw. I saw a sitcom act, and my friends were telling me, I won't even do names, not that they'd sue me. Who, like, to me, average show, I saw you're on TV. You must be rich. You're going to be famous. No. They had their money, they blew it, and they have not got apart.
Yeah.
Joey Lawrence, I used to watch that show with Joey Lawrence, Blossom.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't. I thought he was funny too. He never got another job.
Yeah.
He was honest about it. He did Dancing with the Stars. That guy was a major star.
Yeah.
For years. He's on Tiger Beat. Not that I bought.
You're right. Look at the cast of The Sopranos. They were all good actors, but they're all typecasted.
That's why what's
it
his
was hard
name?
for 'em to
Tony
find work.
wanted to give him as much money as possible.
He held out for that reason.
And people, so you can't go, I'm going to help you. No, I got to strike. You can't help your cousin in Schenectady. You got to hit while the iron's hot. Make as much money as you can. You don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And don't buy too big a house and or get a coke habit.
I know. There's no problem with holding all your money, and if it ends, at least you know your budget.
Right.
Of what ceiling not to crash.
And these days too, fame goes longer. You can show up. Like I'm going to horror.com thanks to you on March 3rd, New Jersey Horror Con. You're going to be there. You can show up and do things. So why do you do I appreciate what you've done, but I say this is humble. Why do you do my show, though, still? I hope it helps you in some way.
It does help me in some way. I think it's a good way to reach new viewers. I think you need a shot.
Have you, though?
I think you need a shot in the arm.
Oh,
yes.
I did. Yeah, I didn't have the time to do. Really,
yeah.
I don't.
So, I'm always here to help. Plus, you're all heart.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you're all going home at night and Adam's kicking back in a chair and going, that sucker. I just don't think that's in you.
No. That's why I hope I don't bother you. Every time you come, I'm like, oh my God, I make this guy. No, you wouldn't do it. You didn't want to do it. But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I hope you get something out of it. And I feel bad. I can't always do. You have great ideas. Like other things are going on in my life besides the family, and it's hard to implement shit. Let's stop at everything. That's good. So I won't have Patrick give you a rub. I was going to have Patrick, the masseuse here, give you a thing.
It's okay.
Has this therapy helped you, though? Have you vented?
Well, literally, when I leave here, I go right back into what?
Your mind's not stopping.
It doesn't
it's
stop.
It's not healthy.
It doesn't stop.
I worry about you, dear. Darling, I worry about you. No, it's not healthy.
I'm healthy. I work out all the time. I eat really good.
But you have that, what you need. You have that one gear, but since you have it, you can't stop. When do you ever set? I mean, I'm not asking you to go to Hawaii, which you did, and just for 3 days not say a word and stare at a wall. But how do you? Oh, you're just happy being the workaholic.
Anyone who's ever been to my house knows my yard, like how my place is in. It's pretty unique. That gets me through a lot.
Okay. Okay. So if I went,
it's like therapy.
Oh, it's therapy. I got
therapy.
You too.
Yeah, it's pretty therapy.
Give me some bona fides. Promote. When's the next Average Superstar Films?
Right now, we got Freedom Shorts 18, and we got Liberty Massacre 5 coming up, and those dates are tentative. They're about to move more into
I plan
summer.
to be there. Again, I was going to be to the last one, but I had some family illness.
Princeton will be the first one to hear when I get the final date.
Okay. Dark Military will propel me into major stardom, I hope.
think it is, yeah. The network's already asking who's that handsome man. That was, the
What about,
man.
Can I always ask, I've asked you this before, and I still don't, how come you haven't, decamped to L.A.? It's not worth it? You don't see it? You don't have a game plan?
It's. I can tell you right now, number one, a lot of the business is leaving L.A. because of the tax incentives all around the country. Even Philly's just.
But I've been hearing that for 20. I'm not saying but I've been hearing that for 25 years.
Atlanta's got all the TV shows.
Vancouver.
And
yeah, it is true.
But one of the biggest things is, I have some ties in L.A. But compared to here, for me to easily get a building around here, compared to doing it in LA.
Oh, I see.
Insurance is a lot higher.
You'd have to have a serious game plan to make it worth your while.
I'm just I don't like a bigger fish in a small pond.
What you can do, you could go to LA and nothing could happen for a year, and then you lose everything.
I can get in line, and as far as actors,
Right.
I could be in a line with 200 guys that look at me that are younger and prettier.
Right. I could see you in the producing end, though. I could see you that,
I never wanted to produce. All I wanted to do was act. This was all something
that would be
I
now,
did.
I'm being an advocate now. I go from therapist to mentor, advocate. I could just see you. I know you know more about the business and how to get into it. I could see you being a producer from day. Because you get the job done, and you seem to like the game.
I'm for sale. The conventions. Yeah. Have looked into me. There's a lot of possibilities out there.
No, from what I've seen with you, because I would love to hire you because I wouldn't worry.
Yeah.
Because if you could do everything yourself, you would, so you wouldn't have to worry about
I'm also like very big on winning. I just
you play to
if
win.
there's something in my way, a challenge, I will do everything, go over the top to get it.
That's
to
why.
win.
Why couldn't you slowly? Wouldn't give up your day job or your legend status here, but slowly see if you would negotiate from strength. You already have your job and your life here, and see if you could find that niche producer or something out there, even if it's for a couple of months.
It is, but if I'm up to my normal day job, I'm up to a month vacation. Mm-hmm. But what if I went to LA just looking for work, and then
it would all go.
That's how I spent that 1 year, like trying to get work when I'm supposed to be on vacation.
Right. I got you. You can't do it from here.
You could. Well, I am doing it from here, but but if they want to see you, it's just like kind of going to New York constantly for auditions. You're going up the Hamilton Station. You're paying to park there. You're paying for the train round trip. You're spending money to go read. And if they like you, they're probably calling you back 4 more times.
Right, and you still might not get the job.
You're spending $200 to go read.
Even worse, they might be set to hire you. Then the writers or producers, we want to get someone with blonde hair. We change the family.
Or they just scrap the part. Or they just scrap the part.
Just like that.
So, and in order to that, you need to take. We need you there at 2 in the afternoon. I got to take a day off. I got to take a day off of my job, which I value. I value every minute I get to myself. So that's instead of a normal vacation day.
Right.
I'm traveling. I'm working to maybe get work.
Right, with the ambiguity is rather high. Agent.
I think it's really important too, like to have on your website too, to have constant updates and a good log. I have like 50 pages on my website of everything that I do.
Yeah, I've seen. That's almost obsessive. You just, keep it fresh.
It is, but if there's a producer looking to ever fund your film,
that's true.
They're dissecting you because when
true.
someone comes
true.
to me and tells me what they are, I am Googling.
See, I kept on forgetting again. That's very true. You have to. That's another thing, but you have to do it because you don't know what. Maybe nothing happens, but if something does and they don't see you keep it fresh, they're like, "What the hell is this?"
I've had also too,
that's how I feel when I look at people.
We're in the world where you have to challenge everybody. So when I'm at like conventions and someone comes up like, "Oh, you made this movie Dark Military," where I'm marketing all my stuff. They're like, "Oh, I'm a cinematographer." They give me a card, and then they say, "By the way, my site's outdated," and I'm like, literally want to hand the card back. Like, you're showing me you're not putting
serious.
heart in anything. I don't need to see this.
No, exactly.
You know.
I know that when I see websites that aren't, believe me, and I won't discuss that.
Just be on top of that, because, Yeah.
I always try to do something, well, not as much as you, but at least a couple times a week. I do something, even if I pull something out and stuff. It's not as, but I do. People won't take you seriously. I don't take you seriously. And I see some websites I want to run away from.
Oh, gosh, yeah. They're just beyond outdated.
Yeah, outdated, and they're cluttered. I can't.
You kind of want to be hip, You want everything you're doing to be current.
It tells you something, but
Yes.
it also tells you something. I look at some websites, even this station, I go, what is this station trying to tell me? Is it about the shows? Is it about this club? I don't even know. It should tell you a story. It should be pleasing. It should be hassle-free.
You have to have the answers, too.
Oh, I remember that actor. He was in he played Suge Knight.
Yes.
And everything.
Yes, that's our lead role, our Marcos Taylor.
And I like the fact you interviewed us on set and everything. I talked about Zombie Dad,
yes.
I think
that will be on the Blu-ray DVD.
And the zombie penis is falling off, I might have mentioned.
Yes.
And stuff. See,
so I think we're getting another sign.
Oh, we have to wrap it up.
That's what
I
that
hope
means.
this has been therapeutic for you.
Yes, it was fun.
And do you need more money for the IMDb?
You got it, or a waffle,
I'll send you a check. No. Well, this is the great Loren Lepre, and you should dissect what he just said, because there's a lot of education about the film business he just said, and of anyone who's aspiring out there. And
you can see every little thing that I do at AverageSuperstarFilms.com. Stop by.
Go to his website and his blog, and I'll also see not the Black Military. That's my soul.
That's the sequel.
The Dark Military. 2 years of labor and love, a baby he wants to get rid of, but he can't because it has to be perfect. The great Loren Lepre, the reason why more people watch Breezin with Bierman and will be whatever.